Final call for open class Angus heifers. Final call, open class Angus heifers.
Well, good morning. Let's give both these young men with their bucket calves a round of applause. They've done an excellent job. Both of them have them broke very, very well, and obviously the bigger heifer probably had a little more of a heifer to start with, and you know, it's to his advantage. But this young man that has the second place heifer, I got to quizzing him, and honestly, this is exactly how I started, with a little old black heifer just like that, and she made one whale of a cow and raised like 2-3 calves at a time for us. So just because she's 200 pounds lighter than the bigger heifer does not mean she's not going to make him a pretty good kind of a cow. The bigger heifer will be your first place bucket calf, and the young man with the smaller heifer will be your second, and a nice way to start the morning show.
Congratulations to the class winner, Brody Seamatter. Receiving second in the class, Clancy Kuntz.
Well, this young man's Angus open heifer, very, very nice cow. Beautiful head, nice makeup. As you look at her, she's broody. Looks like she's going to have a nice mammary system. You can maybe change the way she comes off her hind leg just a bit, but a very, very nice female for your Angus champion.
Congratulations to Brett Seamatter with his Angus breeding heifer. At the ring should be our Hereford heifer class, followed by 2 classes of commercial heifers.
Well, this young man's April Hereford heifer is also very well made. Beautiful in her design. Really like the way she comes up out of her shoulder into her head. Beautiful in her hip. She carries herself very well. Probably not as stout, capacious as the Angus heifer we had out here, but she makes up for it in her quality. High quality young Hereford heifer. This young man definitely has a nice one to compete for champion.
That Hereford heifer, congratulations, goes to Tucker Warda. We'll now have commercial heifer class.
Well, this young lady's senior heifer calf in the crossbred division is, again, she tells me she's 10 months old, so she's a fall heifer. Very nice in her makeup. As you watch her in, you appreciate her condition. She's just really about right for this age to go ahead and make a very productive cow. As you look at her walk, you change her hind leg just a bit. She kind of hocks in just a touch, but it's really nothing that'll ever bother her. It's just the way she moves. Nice crossbred heifer.
Congratulations to Matilda Brugman. She'll also have another entry in this next class.
How's your family?
Pretty decent. So I guess they're doing chores there. They'll be here later. Following this class, we will have selection for the champion heifers. So if you were first or second in the heifer classes following this one, you'll come in to compete for that. And then we will go into the steers after that selection.
Well, the young lady's back again with another Baldy heifer that probably does move just a little neater off her hind two, but again, probably no more flexible. Both her heifers are very neat, very usable in their kind. Nice heifer to complement a heifer she had just out of here minutes ago.
Congratulations, that class goes to Matilda Brugman. At the ring, we will have the first and second place of all of our heifer classes competing for the champion and reserve heifer here in the open class show.
Well, as we get ready to pick our champion open heifer, let's give all these young folks a short round of applause for our appreciation. I'll briefly talk about them again, and then I'll pick your champion in reserve. The young man to my right, the Angus heifer, if she has a component the rest of them don't have, is just body shape. There's just a lot of heifer here through the middle part of her body. Looks very, very cowy. And as I commended when I talked to him when he came out of the ring, if I would change her, it's how she walks just a bit. I just like to free her up in her gait off her hind two. And if we did that, then it gets to be no contest. But that is where I change her, and she is going to make this young man a very, very good kind of cow. And then the young man that has Polled Hereford heifer here right in front of me, you can watch his confidence gaining on each trip out here. I could see him telling Dad on the way in maybe he didn't really want to go, and now he's almost leading her all by himself. So that's what this is really all about, is to gain confidence and learn how to work. And he's got a heifer that's extremely attractive. I mean, if she has an advantage to the other three heifers, it's in her structure and how she moves. She isn't as big-bodied or as bold as the heifer in front of her, but she's sounder in the way she moves. So it'd be my guess, unless something tragic happens, she's going to last a long, long time, and that's very valuable. Nice Hereford heifer. The Baldy heifer that wins the Class 3, her biggest disadvantage is she's young. Very, very neat in her makeup, like the conditioning she's in. If she has a problem where the other three may excel, it's just in the way she comes off her hind leg, but that's a nice heifer calf. Then the young lady also has the older Baldy heifer that probably does move just a little neater and more attractive. I think all four of these heifers, though, are going to make very useful kind of cattle, and she definitely is going to do that. Today, though, I think we have two that maybe just stick out a little bit. Your Angus heifer will be your champion, and the Hereford heifer will be reserved. Let's give them another round of applause.
Your champion Angus, congratulations to Brett Seamatter of Liberty. Reserve comes out of that Hereford class. Congratulations to Tucker Warda. At the ring will be our final class for the open class show. That's going to be our 2 steer entries. At 9 o'clock, we will then go into the main show. First call for the senior showmanship of our beef show. First call for seniors.
Well, I asked both these young men if they were going to show them later today in 4-H, and I'm assuming maybe one of them isn't old enough, but I sure thought maybe one was. But both of them are very, very good cattle. The Baldy steer is probably a little more what we think is being a show steer. He's got some muscle shape, and he's got a nice top line, and he's got some width between his pins. Get your hands on him, and you could maybe put just a little more cover on him, but then you look down in his cod and you grab him in his flank. He's carrying a little more condition than you may guess, but a good steer that has some look to him. This big-bodied Hereford steer is extremely nice in the way he's put together, very, very sound in his muck structure and the way he moves. He's got a big old rib cage. I like that about him quite well. You get your hands on him, and he's probably carrying just a touch more cover than what the black calf has, but in neither case do I think either one of them is over-conditioned. That's just how I see them, and we compare them. 2 very, very nice steers. Black steer wins, Hereford steers reserve.
Your champion steer goes to Brett Seamatter of Liberty. Reserve champion, congratulations, Tayden Warda of Wilbur.